All right. Cool. Welcome to the Cult of Personality Podcast, Season 2, Episode 3. And we're back at it again. It's a nice Tuesday, but when you're watching this, it's a Monday. And I'm very excited for today's episode because today we have a guest with his hand in many pots: clothing designer, art showcaser, musician, and I'm any other title that I'm missing out on. We have Matt the Outlaw. Welcome, welcome.
What's good? What's good, man?
How's everything going?
Shit, right. Just busy, man. Like just working, just grinding, just getting to it, manifesting, making sure everything is aligned and you know, going with
Shout
the flow.
Shouts out to that. Yes, sir. No, yeah. Definitely need all the hope and optimism and manifestation and all that fucking power when it comes to this shit. Whatever you're working on, whatever brand you're building. No, yeah, I was just doing my research on your social medias and stuff before we started, and which we had just spoken about before we started recording. But you are a man of many projects and a man of a lot of creation and creativity. So I'm very excited to discuss all of that.
Well, what do you think is like the like purpose of like the music thing? Like why do you think I'm into multiple things? Like
I mean, it's different for everybody. I mean, some people are in it because bigger opportunity to, what's the word, expand or get recognition. Some people do it to share, create community. That's
mhm.
why I do this podcast, to like kind of create community amongst people who enjoy art and creating. But yeah, so it's whatever, I think it's up to interpretation. I would assume that you're doing it more for the creativity and stuff like that, but also to, get a bag off of it if it blows up. So shit.
Well, I mean, I'm like an art school dropout. Um,
Okay.
so I was in FIT. I was doing fine arts and stuff like that, and I've always been like into like music, fashion, and arts. Like that's always been like my thing, Like, and when I like realized that I wanted to do more stuff, it was like really because I was just got bored. I feel like I had mastered the craft at a young age, like with like painting, and even like I would do like little events here and there,
Right.
like within my school, like within like the community, like we were saying, like so I people really knew me from like parties and like going out to certain events or like oh, how'd you get in? Like we try to go to like Alexander Wing events or Givenchy. We end up getting inside of Givenchy events, like after parties and stuff like that. So just like growing up with that stuff, like the Tumblr stuff, Soho shit, like just growing out of that. And then once I got into college, that culture kept evolving and like the party culture, nightlife, underground music culture out here, it's like all connected. Like
Right.
it's crazy though because there's certain faces that's always gonna be there, or like that really just made the shit like what it is today. And I'm glad to have witnessed a lot of it and even be a part of what's going on right now too. Like it's dope, bro.
No, yeah, a lot of connections. So you're based out of New York City, right? Because FIT, we were talking about that and so and shit like that. So that's cool. Born and raised, I'm assuming.
Well, I was brought up like down south my early years.
All
Um,
right.
my mom, she's from Brooklyn, like so she was in the military. So when we moved, she like basically would move me around too, like you know.
Right.
Her and my father met in Korea, South Korea. They were both in the military. And then like they had me back in the States though. Like I was almost gonna be born in South Korea and like no cap, like, but obviously like ended up being in South Carolina. So my actual like birth state in South Carolina, like I don't think I ever told anybody. Like
Look at
I
that.
don't tell much people. I mean, unless they ask me or know me on a personal level, you know.
Right.
But Yeah, because Brooklyn really raised me. Like I was just born there in South Carolina, and then I moved to Texas, and then after Texas, moved to Georgia. After Georgia, moved to Italy. So it was just a bunch of moving around until like fourth grade, which when I came to Brooklyn, because my mom from Coney Island, like she Boricua, like you feel me?
Yeah,
So like that's just how it was. And I like the city smacked you in the face, like it really show you like it really showed me what real like how it really is, like how the world really is. Cause you know, being an army brat, you mad sheltered off, bro. Like you don't really see how the world really is,
right,
except for like your friends or the friends that you know or whatever. You know what I mean? And then even those friends, I don't even know none of them like no more. Cause
right.
like I moved around so much, and this before social media, mind you. So that's why I say like, you know, fourth grade going all the way to college, like New York. So New York really like raised me, like for real. Like, you know, I lost my virginity out here. Like all that.
And it's a small city too, so connections kind of last a while, I feel like, in New York City. But no, fucking, that's quite a way to start it off, talking about moving around from Texas to Georgia to fucking Italy, which I don't think many people can say that they lived in Italy at all. That's cool. How long were you spending out in each of these locations? Like a couple years each?
Yeah, it would be a couple of years each. I think the longest was probably Texas, I'd say, because yeah, it probably was Texas. And then it would be Georgia. But I think like those both stuck with me like a lot, even like kind of like how I speak now, because sometimes I'm around some people like, oh, you sound like man New York, or like, but when I go down south with certain like, you know, it just depends. Because when I first came out here, people thought I was Italian and shit. I was like, bro, I'm not Italian, because I went to I went to like this public school that was literally across the street from my house. Like
Yeah,
I was like, I still kind of felt sheltered. Like it wasn't until like at least high school when I started going out and having friends and taking a train and shit. Cause like, you know, coming from that army background, you still kind of sheltered. And then once I came out here, I was still, you know, all right, your school's right there, home's right there, corner store, library, museum, like
right.
like the park, or you could go play ball in this park next to the school. Like it's literally just that's how New York is. But the train was always like, don't go
Yeah,
on the
no.
train, you know,
I,
until I got to that certain age, it was like, all right, it's exploring time, have some friends, like, you know, I would get into like Billionaire Boys Club. Kid Robot was it even like early Stussy, bro. Like I remember this crazy Marvel Stussy collab, like, bro, like they need to do something like that again, but do something for like kicks though, like Nikes and stuff. But yeah, like so seeing what's going on now is like really cool. But um having that upbringing out here really shaped like who I am for real.
no, yeah, right. And what was I gonna say? No, it's fucking cool. And I feel you on that because like even now, like I'm fairly young, I'm 19. I didn't start like exploring outside again until like I dabbled into it at like 14 and then didn't until like 18. Start
Mm,
going outside again and shit, especially like with the pandemic and shit. So I feel you on like coming up kind of sheltered and then kind of having to break that shell and shit like that. But no, it's fucking cool. And so you're mostly from Brooklyn because you said what, like fourth grade you came out here?
yeah, I came out here. It was Crown Heights. If anyone from New York know, like that's like by well, it's like Crown Heights, Prospect Heights area. It's by like Franklin Ave
Yeah,
place. It's by it was by like the Brooklyn Museum,
yeah,
that area. And then I moved to Bed-Stuy in high school. So high school, I was in Bed-Stuy, like up to now. Like now I'm in a different part of Bed-Stuy where it's like close to Bushwick. But like now it's like you get all these fucking like trust fund kids and
yeah.
other shit like popping up.
I was
Like
out there. I was out there early July,
word?
and yeah, you see it. You see like gentrification in front of your very eyes.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I was able to, because I was in Brooklyn long enough to see that shit, you know, and to grow up and then, you know, go to this city and see how everything was kind of developed, and then coming back to Brooklyn, it's like, all right, we need to speed it up a little bit. Or like even like just in terms of like having more businesses and more money coming into the hood, like for real. You know what I'm saying? So it's bringing more money to the hood, but at the same time, all the older generations, they're getting like bamboozled in a way, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like to like what's the word, like run people out,
Yeah,
bring new people in. It's like
buying them,
colonization for real.
yeah, just buying them out, and they're going like down south and shit, like fucking Tennessee. Like I had my great grandparents had a house in Queens, like Long Island, Queens area. I guess it's like this area called Laurelton. And then I remember going to their house like as a kid, and I'd just be like, yo, like what the hell? Like why don't people just give it to the next generation? Like why y'all selling this shit? Like cause at the time, like we was in an apartment, they was in the crib. So
Right.
like, you know, like what's up? You know, generational. But at the time, it'd be so much pressure and so much shit going on. And then you got to think about family health because you know they were my great grandparents, so it's like, so they ended up moving to Tennessee.
Right.
And they sold their home, like they sold it.
Yeah, it's a lot of people move to the South for the sake of finance and whatnot. A lot of people move to fucking Florida, but now that's going up in price because everyone's moving to Florida. So shit like that, yeah, no.
Yeah,
But
305 in Miami, all that. I love Miami.
yeah, no, when I go out there, it's usually Orlando, which is also lit. Downtown Orlando's cool and stuff like that. However, moving away from that and moving more towards the man himself. So usually we have a first question, a second question, and like a last question. Everything else is kind of free range. The first question usually being Matt the Outlaw, the name, the image, the aura, the energy, all of that. How did it start? How do we get here? Kind of like your whole background, where you started with creating an art and all that stuff.
All right, so it started. I would say I've always had a creative mind since a child. I loved things that were like a lot of the other kids were like, oh, what's that? You know, like when it comes to like anime, like a lot of the things that are kind of like what's in now was
Right.
like I used to get a lot of flack for being a weird kid that was into it. But people, I was the type of kid in the classroom, I would draw people or I would like draw like all the time because like it always just was like just creating and it's always just things sparking through like just ideas, you know,
Right.
like even like getting into like this like Virgil thing as well recently. And it set
Nice.
back like I choose, you see, I choose to make the reality that I see in my head. It's like
Right.
backwards. I'm trying to read it backwards,
No, yeah.
but it's crazy. Like it's crazy because it's true, and like I meet more like-minded people like that, or I, you know. But for me, like going back to like what outlaw is and all that, it just basically represents like manifesting and just being true to yourself and like I said, like not being scared to be you, like be your best self, bro. Like, cause at the end of the day, that's all we got. Like, why are we going to sit around and let people tell us what to do when we have our inner self? Cause it's not an ego thing, you know what I'm saying? It's really about tapping into your inner self. Like, is you got you know about the left shoulder, right shoulder, or like you know trusting your brain and trusting your gut. You know,
Yeah.
and with being an outlaw, you got to move with everything. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You got to be able to know and determine what is to do and what is not to do and what timing about like everything. Like it's all about just the timing. It's all about like it was like this like Uzi interview, and he was talking about being early. Like, you know, I'm a real student in the game, you know what I mean? Like, and like when you are early, like you do like like reap the benefits, you know what I'm saying? Because people like to see that you are on multiple things. Now the problem was when I was around certain like individuals like Virgil and people like that, like I wasn't ready. I wasn't the Tha Outlaw now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, oh, got his songs on SoundCloud, and I had certain people in like screen printed shirts, but I didn't really, you know, have as much to show for it. So it's just another kid,
Right.
you know, or it's just another, hey, check me out, you know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, and then with the parties and things like that also became part of my brand. Um, like part of like what people get from me. But like going back to like the origin type thing, I don't want to bounce around too much,
No, that's fine. It's chill. We're good.
but like yeah, like I would just draw all the time in school, and like I went to a performing arts school, so it would be kids that would always sing around me. It would be kids that like and high, like you know, we at lunchtime, like I would be the one making the beat while like you know the best rapper in the school was rapping.
Yeah.
You know, I just always in the cut, like after like even like what like after school in high school, we used to go to like McDonald's in fucking Soho, like just like do the same shit, be on like hood rat shit with like niggas like Ian Connor, and you know that whole situation and that whole crew and everything, like all that is just like, you know, even like once I got into like college, because you remember like I was just like I said, I was always just that kid that drew and just was like social and like was around, but you know what I'm saying? It was just a face or someone that was like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Um, so once I got to college, it was like, all right, like I'm starting to like paint more. I'm starting to take like the school serious, like the oil painting, and you know, still throwing events, being social, and still going to like, you know, just being part of the culture, like, and making sure I'm like at least having fun first, like not just showing up and watching face. So like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know that type of shit. Like, or like,
Yeah.
oh, you get picked, like, you know, like I've had to learn how to grow out of that shit too, you know, and to just, you know, just feel the vibe and like, you know, appreciate people for like, you know, just like not the surface level things. And
Right.
um, because like that was what was really going on. And that's why I was like, man, like I need to say fuck all this shit. So I had like a really like a rebellious nature, but it ended up coming to like a more positive, like more like a light,
Right.
so to speak. So that's where like the outlaw came from. I got it like tatted in like college and shit. And then, you know, I was just like, okay. And I started seeing that the pain and stuff wasn't really for me as much because I thought that I'm thinking I'm the best, like, well, like no lie, like, cause it wasn't like I said, like the ego and the inner self. So it's like my ego was like, oh, like, you know, stay in school, like be the best painter. But my inner
Right.
self was like, is this all you really want to do? Like,
Right.
you're good at a lot of other shit. Like, you should like see what's up, you know? And that's exactly what I did, for real.
No,
Um,
yeah.
it wasn't easy at first. Like, I had told my mom and all that, and they were like, "Oh, what?" Like, I was on the dean's list and everything. Like, so it was just like it caught them off guard. But it wasn't like I was like, "Oh, I'm leaving for music." It was like it's other things that I'm into. I probably need a break. Like financially, school's fucking me. Like even though I was getting amazing grades and all that shit, I didn't dorm because you know when you live in the city, you still have to travel. You still got to commute.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like from there, it was like, all right, like you're good, but are you really good? like, you know, like you're just doing what everyone in your family is telling you to do, but like, are you not really fulfilled? And I'm like, I don't want to be like, I can't let time fly. And when I'm not happy and fulfilled, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me do it, let me do this. So I had a couple of like, just like friends and like, even like just people that I would meet, they were just in that realm. And then, and like, I was always like, all right, let me see what's up. Cause like I said, even after school and stuff, we go be around these people, and then they went further on to be with like ASAP Mob and that
Yeah.
scene, and like even being around those events. Like I would
Right.
go to parties and like Bari would pull up. Like I've like been to like DC and just like been turning up with them because I had a best friend. Well, he's still tight and shit, but like at the time, like we would turn up all the time.
Right.
He was the mix, he was the mixy one, like know everybody. He be one talking, get everyone in, get everyone in the spot, you know. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot from him, you know.
Right.
And he had me around certain dudes, but I wasn't not ready. Like had my glasses on. I still had some drip, and I was still you know, rolled up, a chill dude, you feel me? Like in the cut, but whole time I'm just a student in the game, you know? Like, so like I slowly got into music because I would go to the studio more. I had more time. I was meeting up with more people, and like I said, I already had friends that were already in that realm. So it was something that was like, I was always the one like, oh, try this on the song. No one was trying to listen to me at first. When I
Because I gotta do this shit myself.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. For real. Like it was time we was all in a booth, and we all like was like, we found the beat and it was like, oh, we're going to beat first, or we're going to beat after, and stuff like that. And that's what happened for real. But what really, 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 really had made me start doing the music, like the first thing where it was like, I had left New York after I dropped out, I left New York, I went to PG County, Maryland. My dad
Ooh.
was living out there because me and my mom wasn't getting along. You remember, it was tension because she wasn't jacking it. She started moving petty. So
Hmm.
I was with my dad for like 6 months, and he had like this younger person that was at his job, like he was an engineer. So I'm like, this type of blessing in disguise, like low key, because you know, I'm away. I got an engineer. I got my dad, and like I'm in the basement. Like, well,
Right.
you know, I got the basement spot to be able to cook up. You know what I'm saying? And like, I was like, all right. So he pulled up, and this is when I started to kind of like get my like flow together, or like, you know, at the time, like learn
Right.
how it sounds back. You know, but he had like this okay setup, and sometimes he would even send me the tracks and shit. Like, you know how it is sometimes when you first get into it, certain people aren't like all the way
Dependable and shit like that.
yeah, bro. Like, but it's always just like, all right, the next time I go to the studio though. So I always just keep that energy, you know what I'm saying? I never try to trip too much or whatever because you can't control everything. Um, but that's what that shit taught me early too. Cause I'm like, you know, like perfect your craft. Don't be so quick to push it out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but so Maryland, boom. And then me and my dad, I had to get a job. I started working in a retail store, a sneaker store out there in like Bowie. Like, shout out anybody from the DMV watching this. But like, yeah, bro, like I was working in this spot called Sport Zone. They I swear they hired me because I was from New York, but they like, you know what I'm saying, oh, you from New York. But they wasn't really jacking me at first. But I was like, you know, I have no retail experience. Cause bro, I tried to apply to jobs out here. Before I had left, I tried to apply to all the jobs out here. I was thinking my FIT good grades and like, you know how is would have done something, but you know, I could have continued to be more on it and try, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's better to just get experience somewhere else and come back
Right.
with better view and better sense of self.
Right.
So basically that's what ended up happening. Then me and my dad started getting into it because I was telling him, like, I'm not trying to stay out here. I got people hitting me up like, yo, why you not back in the school? Like, where you at? Like, I really
Right.
was like, hit me up, like asking me shit like that. And then I was just like, bro, like, this is my life now. And then I was kind of contemplating on going back when I went back to New York. But when I went back to New York, I ended up doing the Yeezy show at Madison Square Garden. And I had gotten to a big ass argument with my pops and he kicked me out the crib. I went back to New York and I went to the Yeezy show.
How was
And
that?
back in New York since.
Yeah.
Like, feel me? Like I had missed the like original auditions for everything, but I had this girl on Instagram who was like some casting person or something like that. I forgot who it was, but she basically knew the email or something to email to get to the Adidas compound,
Right.
be a part of it. Cause there was like this compound where like if you got accepted, if you got the email back, you go to the compound. I forgot where it was. It was like we had to take buses to go to it. We had to take buses. And then when we got there, it was like, it was like some of the other kids that was there, but the people that were in the main show, like Yachty and Ian and Thug and all of them, like they were already at the garden.
Yeah. So what was your role? What were you doing here?
Basically we had to go get dressed up because it was like 3 other buses of the extras because it was the main people that they already had casted.
It was like modeling, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I had to stand there and and model. They were like, and this before like I had my contacts and all that shit. So like I had took my glasses off and shit. So I'm like, I don't even see the monitors. I don't even see shit. But I'm like, fuck it. Like, I took the glasses off myself because I didn't want that image in the future.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I always was like thinking forward, I'm gonna elevate from this. I'm gonna like, meet some people. I'm gonna network. I'm gonna like do what I gotta do. And that's
Right.
that's what I did. But at the time I didn't have a first song out at that time. So that's what I did. That's what I worked on after the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, at this time, did you really have anything to present?
No, I didn't. I only had because remember the engineer at the time wasn't really
Right.
sending me the shit. So
Yeah.
I had like little beats that I would make like on GarageBand and shit, but that wasn't like with like my voice distorted like on some like fake MF Doom shit. But it wasn't that was kind of like my early like type shit. I was listening to a lot of like I don't know if you know Ugly Mane, Lil
I've
Ugly Mane,
I've heard of that name for sure.
or like fucking like just like deep voice sounding shit, like but with like fucking crazy like
Like
808.
distortion and
Yeah,
effects and shit. Yeah.
yeah, and like samples, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like it was kind of like I said, like very like Mad Lib, Mad Villain type shit. But it stemmed from that type of stuff, like electronic stuff.
Right.
I like the Clams Casino. I actually met him at one of my jobs, and when I was actually still in school, like I would meet these people, bro, and they'd be like, "This is weird." Like, I mean, I was just like I listen to this shit all the time. Like I grew up to this shit, but as you know, you live in New York, so it's like it's whatever. You're gonna meet people, but sometimes it's like it's a reason why, like,
Right.
or like you know what I'm saying, like from like, but I like I said, I wasn't doing what I do now, so I wasn't as memorable of a kid.
Right.
A lot of people kind of just remember my face or they overlook me, but now it's like, okay, like, oh shit, like I see what you got going on type shit. So if I was to meet certain people, it blow their minds. But
Probably be more memorable and be like, oh shit, like remember that inkling of you then, and like look at you now. It's like, oh shit.
the story with Clams Casino is basically like he has a like a family member that has a dance company.
Okay.
And I had a job. It was at the Joyce Dance Theater.
Okay.
And I was like a usher boy. Like, you feel me? Like, I had to make sure no one was taking photos and like all that shit. It was like, it's just an after school, like little after school job. And he did a score. So mind you, I'm like, when I tell you I'm a student in the game, like not even just of music, just like of arts, like dance,
Right. Things beyond it.
actual fucking like real like production fucking shit, like come to the fucking lighting, all that shit, how they set it up before the show. Like, and it was crazy to see that, Clams Casino, I heard of him from Rocky and fucking Little B and shit.
Yeah.
He's here like with on this artsy type shit, like what? So it was cool because, it showed me you can mix a lot of the realms together. It's no rules.
Yeah, no, it shows you don't have to stick to like what's one thing.
Mm-hmm. And like, so like after the like, yeah, so I would just meet certain people. Like I remember this one time it would be I almost got like in trouble because I was at this like private like Rocky event. And like, at the time I was just like a big fan. And like I was just like, bro, like I think it was like Ills or someone was like, yo, bro, like delete that. But all I was doing like was like on the like, you chilling and you just chilling. It was like a house party.
Yeah.
And then, you just recording, like you chilling now, like kind of like how it is now, where if you are at a club or something and you're just like, yo, like, oh shit, look who's here. But I didn't know that it was like some type of like stigma around that or whatever. Cause like I said, I'm a fucking Gerber. Like,
Yeah.
I know as much as I know now and like wasn't like as socially aware or socially conscious of how to even treat certain people that are new celebrities or just, they want their privacy.
Right.
So I was like, all right, it's no problem, no beef or whatever. But like, it kind of got like little rowdy. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have my time watch. So, like, and shit like that. That's New York shit.
Yeah.
But it's all love though. Cause like I said, what I do is just an extension of where the ASAPs, the fucking like the pro eras, the Flatbush Zombies, City Morgue, like all that is just it's a part of me too. Like growing up on it and being around that shit is definitely, and being in certain realms is just continues to like push you and inspire you. So sometimes when you see certain people at that time, it was like, you happy to see them.
Right.
Whatever. And but that was before like I started like with the music type shit. That's when I was still, kind of like
In school, right?
this was like, yeah, this was like definitely after school, but it was like, yeah, it was after school and it was after everything, but I didn't really have a song. I didn't even have, I wasn't like, I was still developing
Right.
from what I remember. I don't really remember that well if it was before or after. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But
All
I know
good.
the fact that like after, it definitely wasn't after the Easy thing.
Right.
'Cause I think Yans was still alive because Yans was there. Like,
Okay.
so it was just interesting. But after that, I was just like after the Yeezy show, it was just like, all right, let's go to the studio. We go to like what's that one place, bro? It's so much different studios that I've gone
Oh, I could only imagine.
like it was in the city. It was like on 42nd Street. Like, and it's so much studios over there now. Um, like Quad, Engine Room, uh, like this is a couple to name. Like it's a couple that I fuck with now, but like I would go to the studio. There's one dude, his name's like Chris, and he would do all the French Montana stuff at the time.
Yeah.
He would have like Migos there, like Rich the Kid, certain people would pop up. Famous Dex. Like a lot of Dex's stuff was like from Chris, like at that certain time. So I already had friends that was in that loop.
Yeah.
And plus the parties and the music, everything, like, you know, like I said, in New York, they really go hand in hand. So
Right.
that's where I was like, all right, let me see what's up. And then I started going to someone else and like in my school, I remember my first song I dropped was called Comfortable. And it's like, don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. And basically it was like a hype song. Cause I was really like in my early music, I really wanted to be on that performance shit. I wasn't trying to be on that like I further went on to do like plug and B and shit like that. But at first, like it was like really like because
Like,
even you know what I'm saying, there's 808s. And my first song was produced by some producer called Cali Cartel. And like at the time, like it was like he was in the dorm room and I pulled up to the dorm room at FIT too, because it was crazy because he was still going to FIT. So my dropout ass went to the fucking dorm to like chop it up with this kid. And like eventually he moved out the dorms like that couple months later and had his spot in the city. And I pulled up and he had his keyboard and all that shit, bro. Like we recorded that shit in his crib.
that's
We
what's
made
up.
the
And this
beat.
was like the first like notable song of yours?
Yeah, my
Okay.
first song, like Comfortable. Cause I only count what was dropped,
Right.
respectfully.
And this was probably well more orchestrated than most people's first songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was still like on the fence at that time. So that song meant a lot to me.
Right.
Because it's about not being comfortable in that and what people are telling you to do. Like
Right.
you gotta get a little bit uncomfortable to find yourself type shit. So I think that was really what that song was for me now. Like now that I think about it, for a lot of people. Because it was like it had a really slow intro where it was like I was kind of singing, bro. Like because I was really like inspired by like Future at the time. Like, or still am, you know, there's a couple of people that I'm still inspired by, but like it was like a symphony into the beginning, like kind of, but it and then it went straight into like Outlaw OUT. And it was like new chick on the way. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it just started, it like hit you. But that was like different because the song structures then, you kind of needed that to like draw in. Like now it's kind of quicker, faster BPMs, all that shit. You know,
Right.
hit them in the head with some 808s or some crazy shit. But then it was like, all right, let's see what he could do a little bit just on that one track. And the track would be at least like 3 to 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, now music's a lot quicker nowadays. People
Mm-hmm.
are trying to go trending on like TikTok and shit.
Yeah, man. It's the machine. It's like the old like man versus machine
Yeah.
that we're in right now. And then the art is looked at based off of that concept now.
Yeah, it's very oversaturated when it comes to like marketing and advertising and shit like that. Music doesn't feel as organic as it once was, I feel like right now.
Yeah.
Which is not, not saying it's not subject to change back or revert back, but I don't know. I feel like everything's so artificial when it comes to like the industry.
Yeah. Honestly, it's crazy because like being a New York artist and seeing like a lot of New York labels or New York A&Rs like sign other artists from that aren't from New York and bring them out here is
Yeah.
kind of disrespectful
Oh yeah, for sure.
because it's like, why? It's like, bro, it's so much
There's
fucking
so
talent
many
out
talents
here.
right under your
Y'all always
nose.
doing that shit because y'all thinking that sounds gonna make y'all money when it's artists out here that are versatile that aren't even at their final form yet, so to speak.
Right.
So y'all gotta, but they want that. They want to see those numbers there, but the numbers don't even be real. It be machines behind niggas. It be all this other shit going on, and it doesn't leave room for the authenticity. It's all about like who you know you know, and but at the same time, it still does matter having a good track. You know, it's always just like, okay, let the music speak.
Right.
But I just feel like it's like that. And when it comes to the new sound of everything, well, I wouldn't say, how should I say it? I just think now things are only like this because of the artists that have been popping up like the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, because no, like the idea of a rapper or of a musician was like very like far-fetched. And like that's why like I could honestly say that, because like before I started to get into it, I'd think like, oh, like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck this motherfucker rate this, or like, what the fuck was they on? Like,
Yeah.
now I get it. Like,
Yeah. It seems kind of like distant until you're in it. And then you're like, oh shit, I see now. Yeah.
and then
One of
it's like
this.
you want to get better, and it's like you want to continue to like build on top of what you've done.
Right. What was I gonna say? When you started with Comfortable and your first coming out with music and stuff like that, were you Matt the Outlaw or did you have like a different alias?
Yeah, I was Mac the Outlaw, 100%
Okay, so this is from the get-go.
from the get go,
And you
bro.
stuck with that since.
Yeah, bro, because I had certain people I would be cool with and shit, be around, motherfuckers be switching their names like 5 times, bro.
Yeah, and that's terrible, I think, for marketing and shit like that. Like you're trying to put yourself out there and you have a different name like every couple fucking months. Like,
And that shit, I feel like it's certain artists it worked for. Like when Tracy did it, um, who else? Like even like Prince, like he fucking switched his name to fucking symbol. Like
yeah,
it's like a bunch of artists have done a bunch of crazy fucking shit or things like that. You know, like Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. It's like,
I think it's all about like the timing of it all. It's like either you're like have to be like smaller or like really big to where you're recognized no matter what type shit. But like if you're kind of like in that middle and you're like
I
fuck up your
tried I tried to like do that shit like when I first started doing like a high pitch,
yeah,
what like vocals on my tracks. Like I was thinking about like doing some like troll like fucking like burner SoundCloud and
yeah,
like
like an
have
alter ego.
beats and like just really wilding. But it'd be on some really like fucking like Slytherin shit. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like some really fucking like it's just like it's just super like eclectic, and like the vocals sound wet and the beats are very like hard hitting type shit. But
Right.
it was called like Little Young Baby Kid. But I didn't really follow through with it. I ended up just like posted it, like the track on the cloud, and then like, but like it was picking up. It was picking up, but I was just like I had so much other songs that was just like, no, this needs to drop, or people need to focus on this video. Like, let me not be fucking around too much. Let me just actually just put that mix of that feel of the feeling and the joy of thinking about the little young baby kid or whatever, but putting that fucking shit into mixing it with who I am. So, you know, with Matt the Outlaw and like the other sound that I hear is like kind of like that. So it's like it's Matt, because at first I used to think that I was like two people,
Right.
like because it's like everyone knows a Matt, and it's so like it makes you feel like at home in a way. Like, and the Outlaw is about just like, okay, Matt is the outlaw,
Right.
but like that only is a part of him because of like his beliefs. You know what I'm saying? So the outlaw is a spirit too. It's not even just about like any of that other shit. Like it's more like a spiritual. It's really just more of a spiritual thing because it's a mindset, and that stuff transcends. And you can, if other people share or are like-minded, that's a collective conscious.
Right.
Technically, if we're speaking like on a scientific like surface here, you know, like we're all collectively like pushing something, bro. Like just evolution of sound, music, media, and with the Outlaws, very like okay, I'm inspired by Pac, I'm inspired by like fucking Biggie and a lot of like the old Western films and Cowboy Bebop, like, you know, Han Solo,
Right.
fucking Cloud Strife, dudes like that, bro. Like real like hold their own, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
own Rangers, bro. So that's I really wanted to embody that. And with because it was like my Instagram at too, but it was like underscore and it was like an E. It was like, but it was my like OG Instagram. That's how everybody knew me. Because before the music, bro, people used to be like, "Oh, it's Matt." Like I remember some girl would be like, "Oh, it's Matt Tha Outlaw." Like, and my friends that was making music, they wasn't even getting that. They wasn't even like, I've never seen that. Like, not on
Right.
no shit, but I'm gonna talk my shit respectfully. Like, I wasn't seeing none of that shit.
You were getting recognized.
I was getting recognized,
Right.
and I was just like, it didn't really catch me off guard because I've always felt like, you know, I should be able to like achieve that because of the simple fact of like all the fucking time, all the fucking sleepless nights and the energy that I put into everything that I do. And at that time, it was just like I wasn't noticing that. Like now I can notice that and look back and be like, okay, that's probably why. Because people could see like the type of aura or where I'm going.
Right.
It's sometimes like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we got potential. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, so it was like that. People, even though I wasn't as developed as I am now, certain people saw that potential.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like people just kind of attract to the energy that you like emit.
Yeah. And it's just like a saying, like you can't try. You just gotta do. Like you just gotta be. And
Right.
I feel like that's another thing where we was talking about the saturation. Like as motherfuckers, they're trying, they just don't know how to just be.
Right.
And
Just
more
sit
people
back.
on their records, music gonna be beautiful, bro. But a lot of people are just on some like, oh, I gotta do this. Like, nah, bro. Like, just be still and do what comes to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you gotta punch in, if you wrote to the whole song and then when it's time to record it, if you're not feeling it, punch in, bro. Just freestyle, jump in that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers be writing shit, listening to other niggas shit, trying to see or formulate word structure or lyric structure
Yeah.
and stuff like that. When it's like, you know, it's good because it will help you. And having inspiration is good. Like it's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
But at the same time, you gotta break. It's like, nah, we can't be comfortable in music. Like we can't be comfortable with anything, my nigga. Like you gotta continue to push the envelope and push
Innovate.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly. That's the word. That's the word, bro. Like innovation, bro. Like, cause that's really what I feel like I do, bro. Like, cause I'm like I said, I can't act like, you know, certain niggas be like, oh, I don't listen to nobody else for me, or I don't listen to like that type of shit. Like, nah, bro. Like I dead ass listen to anything from like fucking Aphex Twin to fucking Sid Vicious
Yeah.
to fucking Blade.
No, yeah.
You know,
I'm quite the diverse taste as well when it comes to like
I
music and
see,
shit.
I see.
No, yeah, all that shit. I'll listen to hardcore, I'll listen to fucking country, I'll listen to a bunch of shit.
Yeah, man. I grew up on Cotton Joe, bro.
I
Cotton Joe.
I got like fucking last year I had like a big Johnny Cash, like Willie Nelson, like what's the word, Waylon Jennings, like big like outlaw country shit. Outlaw. But yeah, no.
I've always I like the Blues Brothers growing up. I like the films, like, and I got into like Ray Charles. That's like the most from that sound. Like outside of like it's certain films or certain things when I watch like Supernatural or like with the super deep voice, he's like coming down the road.
Yeah.
Like or talking about crossroads and shit. Like, bro, that shit's super fire with like Ghost Rider type
Yeah.
of vibes. Like so when I listen to music too, I think of images. So when I used to paint, I used to listen to music all the time, and that's why I was like, I'm just a sponge, bro.
Right.
When it's time to go into the track, like I release everything, so to speak. You know, when you wring the sponge out,
Right.
it's me, bro.
It's all kind of interconnected anyway, too. Like, I feel like imagery and music, and then from that to like, I don't know. I see all of it interconnected. I see a lot of things interconnected, but mainly when it comes to like creating and shit like that, like canvas art, music, clothing, fucking videography, all that stuff.
Everything is crazy when you think about it, but it makes more sense now because I feel like before people would try to box folks in.
Right.
And yeah, hopefully I'm able to have, excuse me, like inspire more people to be like, yeah, like I'm good at multiple things. Let me do this shit.
Yeah, it'd be like a jack all trades type shit.
Cause I've seen it happening a lot. Like I've seen it happening a lot. It'd be like, oh, certain people that wouldn't really do rhinestone before, they start doing rhinestone after. Like they see my shit, or like they'll like just like do like I don't know how to explain it. It's like similar like models or like business models or like the same actual legit the same models too.
Yeah.
I don't. It's when it's like you do things for the community, you don't gatekeep though. That's the thing about me. Like I'm, but like people could take that for weakness too, because it's like, all right, your own people only going to be around you because of who you know and you connect. But at the same time, it's like I'm so genuine, bro. Like I don't even be caring about none of that shit. Like I just if I see somebody start moving a certain way, like, all right, I see who you are.
You know, people get
It's
like,
not gonna stop me, and it's not. I'm not gonna like make it on some shit where it's like you're gonna be that big of a deal for me to like really like, you know what I'm saying? Like
you know, some people be
run
like, what's the word? People be like in competition with you in their head. Like there's no real competition, but in their head there is, and they start moving funny and shit like that. It's like, get out of here.
like fuck that shit, bro. And it's so fucking sad, bro. Cause the thing that most people don't talk about, even when you start music, your social circle changes up.
No, yeah, for sure.
Your friends changed up. Like
Especially when it comes to like who has faith in you and who believes in you and who has a common vision and shit like that.
because a lot of people was thinking like, oh, he's just in it because he's just like, you know, he's in it to be in it. And I'm like, nah, like I'm writing these songs, bro. I'm not kicking out bullshit. I'm
Right.
not. We're working on the beat. He got the keyboard up. I'm like, yo, like, nah, let's do this shit. It's not on no YouTube beat shit,
Right.
you know? Cause it's crazy cause before that, actually, that's why I said I didn't count. The pull up with a stick beat, Sabibi, it was a YouTube beat. And basically me and my homie at the time, because like I said, I would go to the studios with friends that were in the booth, that
Right.
were either new engineers or already was in that realm. So we had went to this one engineer's crib, and this is before Comfortable. And we had a song called Speeding, Smoking. It was like speeding, smoking, some shit like that. And it was over the pull up with a stick beat. And we had deep, because like I said, I was partying. Like, I was always like throwing parties, hosting events. And basically we had a DJ homie, he played it and people was like fucking with it, but we never really dropped it.
Right.
Next thing I know, like a month later, or like 2 months later, I hear pull up with a stick. And I'm like, I know that's not the same beat. And it was the same beat. And that shit, we already know how that song went.
Yeah.
That shit blew him up. And ever since then, I was like, bro, I cannot sleep. I can't sleep on my shit.
No, yeah.
But it was still at a very infancy stage. But that's why I commend artists like B, because I'm pretty sure he was too. But at the same time, like he didn't have anybody else on the song with him. He didn't he probably went to this like a real actual studio to do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I took that and was like, okay, let me do that.
Yeah, let me apply this to my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you all right, so we discussed like the beginning of the music and shit. We discussed you've had the same alias the whole way through. When did you branch? Because we branched from like art, like you did canvas art, or what were you doing? Like digital art?
Yeah, like canvas art. Like I
Yeah,
can show you, like I be doing like little stuff too, bro. Like here and there. Like this is kind of like an example of what I'm working on right now.
that's fire.
Like so I do like oil paints and shit, bro. Oil paints, sculpture,
Right,
like shit like that.
right. So you branched from that into music. When did the clothing come along?
All right, you ever watch like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man when he's drawing in the book when he finally gets bit by the spider?
Yeah,
That was like my move because I finally felt like I got bit by the spider and I was becoming this like artist superhero guy.
right.
And I was like, bro, like I need to draw my own logo. At the time, like I said, I dropped out. I was like struggling, bro, like thinking about my next meal, like
Right.
thinking about like, you know, oh damn, I already left school. I got this song called Comfortable. Like, and you know, a lot of people are like rooting for me. And like it was just hold up, what was it called? I had a brain fart. I had a brain fucking brain.
No, yeah, we're just talking about like when the clothing came along
Oh
and
yeah, the
shit like
clothing,
that.
yes. Boom. So like I had like yeah, when Toby got bit by the spider, it was like he had the sketchbook and he was like drawing. And
Right.
like I said, let me fast forward. Basically, I had this like internship, but it was like a mentorship too. And it was a brand called Defend Brooklyn. And this is when I was like, you know, I still had Comfortable. And his name was Al. His name is Al. He's not like he didn't change his name.
Yeah.
Like so basically he had a brand called Defend Brooklyn, but he worked for like Spike Lee and like he was like this production person.
Yeah.
I met him through my best friend and like the same one that would have me around like Bari and like all those people. And he took me under his wing and like he showed me kind of like certain things when it came to like just like oh having a shoot like rolling out the backdrop, like how to communicate when there's like high profile clients coming in, like you know things like that.
Yeah, like how to carry yourself and such.
Definitely like Lil Mama popped up. This other artist named True Life popped up, and True Life was the one who was with Future.
That's so funny you mentioned True Life. My father, he does music videos or whatever, and he works closely with True Life.
Word.
Yeah.
That's probably that. It's a small world. I'm sure he knows Alex. Then I'm sure,
Yeah. Somewhere, somehow, my father's a very fucking social guy. But yeah.
or knows about Defend Brooklyn and all that.
Yeah.
Because he had this shop at South Street Seaport in Manhattan. So I would be over there. And yeah, so the clothing, like I saw that and I was able to like digitally work on things. And I liked a lot of the when I was at the Kanye show, that was like when that Vetements hoodie was popping. It was like this font, like this big ass hoodie that Rihanna would wear and Kanye would wear, like the black Vetements hoodie with the like funky fucking shit.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, I need a fucking logo. Like I
Be
need
like that trademark. Like,
yeah, bro. Like I was like, nah. And I kind of like I said, I was always into like the like punk fucking dirty grungy city shit, bro.
do it yourself.
Yeah.
DIY. Yeah.
And like I wanted to embody that like lightning and fucking comic book and just like, you know, I just wanted to embody all of that. So
Right.
I started a couple of logos and would ask around. And then I eventually came to like my main one. And once I developed that, like I was working on that the whole time I had that mentorship. I would go there and like, I'm working on this fucking logo.
Right.
That was my goal. Like that was like really one of the only reasons, one of the many reasons why I was there, but definitely like the main thing was to obviously learn things there to apply to my fucking life.
Right.
You know? Because like can't be comfortable, right? Can't stay there forever. Like gotta spread my wings, bro.
Keep
So
moving.
so I had came across the logo, I drew it, and I had a home. I was like talking to some girl that was going to Parsons at the time, and she had introduced me to a couple of her friends. And one of her friends was into he was into like graphic he was into like graphic design, and he was like he knew how to sew and everything. His name was Liam. And basically when Liam, it's a dog over here.
All
But
good.
Liam basically like I didn't know how to do the digital like edits to make the design clean.
Right.
Like I wasn't as savvy as that with that stuff as I am now. So like I had drew my logo and like sent it to him. And what we did was just like I was like over him like just making sure like, oh yeah, let's turn it this way, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Nitpicking and stuff like that.
because it was a certain way that I wanted to look exactly like the photo, bro. You know, because when you put these things on there, it was like kind of like it was a weird, it was like the drawing was like it wasn't as like structured as well. It was structured, but it was just the fine lines were off a bit. And I'm really fucking a perfectionist, and I was just like, bro, like nah, it has to be a certain way. So we finally got to that point, and then yeah, bro, we had got this hoodie. I had this thick ass black hoodie from, it was a blank that I had got from Urban. And I had got these Lee jeans, and I had got like this red fabric, and we had a laser printer because he had access to all that stuff at the dorm. Mind you, my dropout ass, like I was just like, I'm like, okay, I'm here to fucking create, you know what I'm saying? And luckily they gave students access to that type of stuff and weren't being on the weirdo shit.
Right.
So, like he had used the laser printer and ended up sewing it on, bro. And I even had this other logo that I made with like an M, and the M went on the top of the hood. It would be like on the top of the hood.
That's fire. That's like some superhero shit. I'm not gonna lie. On some like
Yeah, like not like Magneto, but it's definitely like it looked like some Magneto
yeah.
kind of shit when I look at it now. But I'm like, that's why I'm always going back in and working on certain designs and pushing myself, bro.
Yeah, I was looking at some of your stuff. I was looking at the rhinestone
Oh
scully
yeah,
caps. Those are cool.
I'll get to that. So I'm gonna fast forward it. So boom, we did that, and then after that, I did a photo shoot, and at the time, I had ended up leaving that internship or that mentorship. It was like both, but like I ended up leaving that because I had got like a manager at the time who was like this Jamaican dude, and he was like always trying to push me to like do more open mics and stuff like that because I didn't really have performance experience.
Right.
So I was doing that, but at the time he was also trying to get me more out there to do shoots because he only had experience with models, with like managing like models in that realm.
Right.
I was hitting up mad photographers like, yo, let's shoot, yo, let's shoot. Just
This is for clothes, right?
because remember, I was already in tune with all the other fly shit. And I had friends that would scamming shit or niggas that I knew. And I would always get shit for the low or trade clothes or whatever the case may be. So I always would make sure I was like, I had some type, like all that fit pick shit that dudes be on now, like been on that.
Right.
You feel me? Like, but some dudes used to go crazy with that shit. Like that was their mission. Like, no, I gotta get this. Like, you know, I gotta get these shits. I gotta get these shit. And That's just really what it was. But now it's like when I got into more of the designs, I branched off into the screen printing. First, it was a screen printing, so I had like t-shirts, and then
Right.
like hoodies for real. But I would wear them. I only wore it for myself. I
Right.
I wasn't like doing this like, oh, I'm gonna make a brand. I just was like, I want something to perform in. That's
Right.
how. So then it's not like, even though I was in a store and I made my own logo, the objective was not to that.
It was
I,
just to have some like one of one shit.
and it's something that I drew, so it was meaningful, but it really like would be a conversation starter.
Right.
And I was just like, oh well, let me put some on the internet. Let me do more shoots, because like I said, he'd always be like, yo, bro, like do some shoots, like some creative shoots though, not like iPhone shit. Like, so we had got these smoke bombs. Like I was talking to this one girl at the time. Like we did that shit on her fucking rooftop, and we had fucking smoke bombs and shit. And fucking camera guy pulled up, and it was dope. Like, but at the end of the day, like, I didn't know I was gonna get that response that I did when I posted the shoot. People were like, "Oh, like that's fire, like dope hoodie. Where can I get one?" And whatever the case may be. And mind you, that was the one that we sewn.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the screen print. And
Yeah.
that's when I was like, all right, let me start screen printing this logo on some hoodies. First person that wanted it was from like Uptown, and then other people that wanted it was from the city, like Brooklyn. And then I knew that I needed to continue to take it serious when people from like out the state started hitting me up.
Yeah.
And
That's like
like,
you expanded.
yeah, and it's like I never was really trying to like striving to be on some like, oh, like buy my hoodie shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was really just on some like, this is me, and whoever sees it, whoever's fucking with it, cool. It's like that now too. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like, since I've been putting so much into it, I want more out of it now.
Yeah, I get you.
Like, and that's just where I'm at with it now. And I just have to continue to evolve with the shit. And what it's also about self too. Like when you evolve yourself, like things around you, things that you're in will too. So I got into rhinestones because that's another type of evolution I stepped into. I was doing like the screen printing crop tops, and then I had another manager after that, but he was kind of just more like helping me market, and he had helped me with the website. And basically, like I had a falling out with him at the time. Like we're cool now, but he had the website up, and I was like, at that time before the falling out, I was telling him about like rhinestones, like the rhinestone idea,
Right.
about making everything rhinestone. And then like, well, he left before the bad, I'll tell you that. Like, yeah, that really helped me. Like when I did that,
Rhinestone's a good look.
yeah, it really helped me, and it looked good with my logo. I don't think that it looks good with all logos. I think people do it now for a Y2K thing.
Yeah.
Like then it was on some real like like um like Pharrell. I was channeling like Pharrell, and
Right.
like early like Japanese, like early Nego shit. You know what I'm saying? Like with the
Yeah.
super fucking bling, and you know, fucking, but mixing that with like your everyday, like there used to be this brand called like BB. It was like BE.
Yeah.
And I used to see mad girls like in that shit growing up.
Yeah.
Juicy Couture,
Yep.
they had that stuff on lock. And I was like, there's no gender fluid one, you know?
Yeah. It's all
I feel
like,
like mine fit in that pocket.
because a lot of them are usually very feminine marketed. But it's like that's where rhinestone too. I used to have this dope rhinestone hoodie and it got fucked up in the laundry because I didn't wash it. I gave it and they washed it and all the rhinestones fell off. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, continue
Okay.
on.
I mean, we're in the loop now. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not gonna be your last one.
facts.
But like it was like I transitioned into the rhinestone stuff, and then I was just doing like black hoodies at first, because like I said, I would perform and stuff. I would make stuff for myself, take
Right,
photos of it. Oh, you like the color? All right, pre-order. That's how it will go.
right.
And then I started Depop. I started selling on Depop. And I ended up meeting another producer by the name of 30 Below. Um, and he's also a photographer, and he's a film photographer too, and multi-talented, like, you know. And basically he like would shoot all of my early like shoot shots like when I really rebranded, and you know, took that step to like continue to innovate. And since then I just, you know, I continue to keep that status quo, like when it comes to my brand, like that look, like when it comes to like just like it's not vintage, it's right now, but it looks like it could be like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I
Yeah,
love film photos. Like it's like, you know,
yeah. You're capturing like an aesthetic, an aura that people fuck with heavy too. So
because I was doing a lot of digital stuff, bro. Like, and some digital shit don't hit the same. It don't hit.
yeah,
Because I would fuck with Lightroom, fuck with exposure, fuck with film grain, like on some of the photos that I would edit myself
right,
when I had my website. Now I
right.
went into the guerrilla marketing, kind of like what, you know, really what I do now. Uh, but you know, like I outside of being a student in the game, I also like just like one of those people that are in there, like going through images and aesthetic, just random fucking Instagram pages that like have cool ass fucking pics, bro. Or like, you know, I don't use Pinterest, but I remember when Tumblr was good. Some people would still use Tumblr, but I never would do that either. I just would just like just screenshot shit, or like, you know, look. I don't know. I would see the craziest things, but I would naturally come across them. I feel like now it's like you'll see cool stuff like if you just search the right hashtags and like
Right.
deep go deep into it. That's what I do now. But um yeah, bro, like he would do all the film stuff because I wanted to capture that vibe. And it was on Depop, and then I was like, you know what, let me start. It wasn't until like uh it wasn't until like the pandemic is when I started like really upping it, like when it came to my brand, because
You know, I mean, we all had time for like reflection and just being in the crib and shit like that.
yeah, that's when I started upping it. I started making like different types of products.
Okay, so when you like branched out from like hoodies and shirts and shit.
Yeah, I was making like, well, I mean, at first I was making hoodies only. I started by just selling hoodies, and then I did the rhinestone hoodies, and then after the rhinestone hoodies, I did rhinestone tank tops because I had screen print tank tops, and then like I had got like a little like while I was doing events, and I was getting money from events. Like I had a day job where I was just like collecting breach, and it was pretty calm, but I was comfortable.
Right.
So I wasn't moving. Like I was recording more music, but I could have been able to push the brand more, but I didn't, because I wanted to just dwell into the music, and that party shit really took a lot of my energy, because
Right.
around a lot of people, you're still finding yourself, finding your sound, and all that shit. So I didn't want to over, like, you know what I'm saying? I was doing a lot, I was overthinking. I was like, you know, I didn't, like you said, like I didn't have that time to step back.
Right.
And now it's like, okay, like I'm grateful that I had that time to just take a step back. I had actually left that shit, and then and the only reason why I was even doing that shit, because it was like I had to make sure didn't want to look bad. Like I still like at the time was caring about like friends and family members that would look at me a certain way if I was doing what I was doing without having something to fall back on,
Yeah.
having something that will help me put into my dreams, you know?
Right.
So now I'm even like striving for that now, like to be able to be in the room and get paid off doing what I do. So right now I'm just shopping that around. Still doing more in-person meeting shit and networking and stuff like that. But it's like I gotta actually, because like when you just apply for stuff, like for certain positions when it comes to like, being a consultant, being a stylist, just things that I know that I'm good at, that it's like I don't mind working behind the scenes and having my name on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And having to be consistent. Like I said, I'm a student of the game. Like I don't. It's like the like a Kanye, so to speak. Like his name's on it.
No, yeah. I mean, there's still experience with that too.
Yeah. Like being someone like that. Like, okay, he's working with this, or he's working with this team. You get me? So I still can be Matt the Outlaw. I could still be Matt and still work with these teams and still
Right.
push culture. So that's really what is the goal now, while continuing to do concerts and continuing to, just push culture, bro.
No,
And
yeah.
that's pretty much what it was like. And then I got into full zipper hoodies, I got into sweatpants, and I got into like the beanies, like during the pandemic, because I was on Depop like heavy, like at that point, because they were like came across like a photo, but they had to I had to like send it to them, because like what they did was like they basically like hit up someone that like I was already acquainted with, and then they shot my info to them. So by the time like I hit them up, they were like, "Oh, okay." Like, but I was still getting like sales on Depop before they added me to their explore page. Because what they did, they like the photo shoot so fucking much that they put it on the explore page, and that kind of it blew that shit up.
Right. That's a lot of exposure.
But it was an explore page on that app, so
Right.
even more exposure, because it's not on like Instagram when you have multiple shit. It's like that app
It's
is
like
very
boom.
specific. Like
Yeah.
it's like being on the Grail, like
It's
top
like
five.
having your own little fucking billboard, like smack on the app.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah.
Well, not really. I mean, not really as much as a billboard, but like if it's dead ass like right fucking there, like as soon as people see, or it's like it's just always there in the algorithm.
Right.
Like no matter what kind of algorithm you have, you're gonna see that shit.
Yeah.
But Instagram is different because the algorithms are so strange. But it's now I feel like I'm getting closer to that pocket audience. Like,
I still don't know how to figure out a lot of social media algorithms. So like kudos to you for that, because
yeah,
I have a very fucking hard time with marketing and what's the word? Algorithms. Like even for this podcast and shit like that, I kind of just wing it.
yeah, man. It's gonna pick up. It's everything picks up, and
Right.
everything will honestly like continue to evolve, bro. Like as much time as you put into it, like like that's all that it matters. That's all that I feel like matters.
Right. Agreed. Agreed.
Progression.
So we stand at where you stand currently with clothing, not so much music. We didn't talk too much about where you stand currently with that. However, as well, I do like to talk about the future and like any projects you want to share when it comes to like what you have coming up with any of your endeavors.
All right. Damn, I don't like speaking on things like that too early.
No, yeah.
I,
Whatever you
I
feel
definitely
comfortable sharing.
I definitely like got Nazar coming out. Um Nazar basically is a project about just my journey, bro, like spiritual it's like more of a spiritual, like the project is based on a spiritual journey, but the sound is just represent. It's gonna just represent like all the different. Like I have a song called Hex Girl, a song called Itachi so far. Really like I've been just performing those two unreleased songs. I'm thinking about making it like I'm making it like at least a little like probably like 5 more songs on there. Like 7 songs, 6
Okay.
songs. And Hex is 6, so I'll probably do 6
No,
because
yeah.
it's a spiritual project. So
No, yeah.
it shouldn't be too much. It should be like, okay, I'm ready for the next one.
No, yeah. You don't
Like,
want to drain yourself too much, exert too much into it.
yeah,
Leave yourself drained.
because the next one after that is gonna be called Valhalla.
Okay.
And that's after because I had so what it is with both of the projects is all the stuff that I've been going through now with like the switch up of certain acquaintances, certain people that I was around, uh the trajectory of the New York scene, the sounds that like are influencing me. And because like I said, like I like to party a lot. So like break beats, um, distorted 808 sounding things, sample drill, uh, and like my beats as well. I like to make like certain like eclectic, like electronic sounding, like trap
How
alternative
how
beats.
much like producing do you do besides? Do you do your own production?
Yeah, I like recently I don't do my own engineering yet, but um I definitely have been doing more of my own production, and I've been seeing it like like yesterday I was just playing a beat in the store, and people was just like freestyling. Like I always be hearing people just freestyling in the cut. So
That's
that's
what's
how I
up.
know, like like, and my friend, actually the same one that does all the like photos, bro. Like he, I met him like because he's a producer and he was showing me like a lot of the ropes like and I that's why I don't really jack I'm a producer, bro. Like I don't unless you know my music or know me, you be like, all right, because I'm not the type like, oh, send packs out,
Yeah.
like, shit like that. Like nah, like I'm not like that. I'm not an Atlanta producer. I don't follow that Atlanta producer that Atlanta SoundCloud producer fucking like template.
Criteria. Yeah.
Yeah, like Fight Beats or like I don't fucking know. Even
Yep.
like Chicago
Plug.
producers, like
Yeah.
send niggas the same beats.
No, yeah, no.
A lot of those plug-in beat producers do that shit. A lot of fucking people do that shit, bro.
And
But
they have like 5 artists with the same beat.
I'm honest and honestly, like shit like that has even happened when it comes to like opens, it's come like that. But like honestly, like you just gotta show people what you can do at the
Right.
end of the day because unless if you have your own hand on your sound, like when it comes to your production, like you're gonna have to deal with that. Like it just is what it is. And the way that I see it, it's like maybe it's just like we're just still in a mixtape era, but we don't know that we are still.
Yeah.
Or because it's like a lot of that was like everybody jumping on like those freestyles or like those beats, but it's the same beat. So if you're like an early artist that are into these certain producers, like you're gonna jump on to that. Like you know
Right.
what I'm saying? But eventually, like, cause it was dudes like uh like Oscar 100, if you ever heard him.
I feel like
Uh
I have.
you ever heard of like Ryan Raps, um Beer One Boss, Brent Rambo, Warhol S, like people like that. Like it was a couple like of those super like underground artists that I or like artists and producers that I was tapped into, like 99, um, like DP Beats. It's a couple producers that I was like interested in making stuff with. But I like when I would meet a lot of some of the producers. Like I have a song, I have like a couple projects where I was on like a Icy Twat beat, and
Yeah.
and then I had a song where I was like on a Lord Fubu beat, and it was weird because it was like, hold up, my dog,
All good.
yeah, my dog having a bad dream.
All good. All good. Quick intermission.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck dogs be dreaming about, but I
Yeah,
hope.
no.
But yeah. What was I saying?
We were discussing, you were talking about an icy twat beat or something of the sort. It was some
Yeah.
sort of type beat.
Like I got the beat, and then like it's weird because like I said, I'll be meeting people because I'll be at events and shit. And I went to the ASAP Rocky like Under Armour event, and he was there, like Pierre Bourne was there. And I was shopping there with Pierre, I was shopping with Isaac Swat. Pierre gave me his number, and then like I hit him up because he was like, oh, like I'm gonna pop out, like, or whatever. He was saying something like he was gonna pop out to some shit, or to like he was gonna be out there for like another day out in New York, like another day or two. He said he was gonna be in the studio or something. But I was just like hit him up because I was gonna send him music. Like, and yeah, bro, like he didn't even say nothing. So, and then like with Icy Twar, when I met him, he like he seemed pretty cool, like, but like you could just tell when certain people don't really like embrace you.
Right.
So it was like it was no like bad blood. It's just like, all right, let me just continue to build who I've been building with. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't doing where I'm like shoving my music down niggas' throat.
Right.
Shit. Like I wasn't like, oh, check this out. Like I probably should have, because then if they just heard it, if they just heard what I could do, then yeah, but I don't know. Like then
I
I
don't
don't
know.
want to look like, listen to this.
Yeah, no, I feel whenever I meet people like that, fuck with heavy, like bigger artists or whatever, I never try to seem like a dick rider or anything.
Yeah, but it's hard because it's like, well, it's not hard to not dick ride, but it's like if you honestly like listen to them, it's like you tell them like, yo, I fuck with this, like I fuck with this project. Cause I
Right.
asked him, I was like, yo, when you dropping the new T-Lop? Cause at that time he didn't have T-Lop 4 out.
Right.
He was like, oh, October, but at that time it was like August. So
Yeah.
like, he'd even dropped it then. He dropped it later on. And yeah, bro. And I be feeling like a lot of those bigger artists or bigger producers, they be seeing a lot of the shit that be going on, but they just still work. They'll just like do that with the artists that they're cool with, or like
Yeah.
they'll just do it themselves. Cause like I said, Pierre is like another example. Like he's an artist and a producer. So it's like, you know, but that was before I started producing.
Right.
That's why I was on an artist mindset.
Right.
Now I'm on like, I don't need these niggas. But like I would still work with them,
No,
but
yeah.
do I need them to actually get a sound out,
No.
or no? And that's what I'm grateful for now, basically.
Right.
Because I put my, and a lot of people are fucking pussy, bro. They'll fuck with these artists and fuck with these people, will be like, oh no, I'm probably not gonna get in. Oh nah, like he probably gonna dub me. Like not me, because I'm
No, yeah,
that
no.
outlaw kicks in. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm like, nah, like let me at least niggas remember my face. At least, you know, I've put myself out there. I know like that I am not where I was because I had to do that to grow from it. I had to know and see how people's vibes is and shit. Where like I've had to work on myself a lot, like because that was before the pandemic. So Like I was there. I had a bandana tie. I had a little Peep shirt on. Fucking BB belt. Fucking Phasos and shit. So I feel like even then they knew like, all right, he's on some like rap rock shit or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I had the bandana tied like Pac, so niggas was like, all right, I see what he's going for.
Right.
At the same time, you know, that's what I emulate now, you know, like I emulate all three of those generations, the present and the 90s shit and like, you know, the 2016 era.
Yeah, bringing it all together and making some
Yeah,
dope shit.
that's what
Yeah. If you just got that swag and then you have that confidence, I feel like number one, it's really hard to get shot down by anybody. You just like present yourself well and articulate yourself well. So I can see why you're like, yeah, no, not me. I just pull up and I'm there.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
It's to the points where I've had like, I'm not saying that I'm proud of it, but I've definitely had like arguments would be like, nigga, y'all not gonna let me in. Or like the fuck, like because it's like some people take shit too serious,
Right.
and that's why I feel like, well, when it comes to like stores or like clubs or like it's like y'all taking it too serious,
Right.
like seriously,
Take a
like.
chill. No, yeah.
But then it's like, okay, but you want to be in there, you want to come, right? But it's like at the same time, it's like not if I got to deal with all this.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you think people know that they're gonna deal with that, and it's like, why would you even? Isn't that a headache for y'all?
No, yeah.
Like, but it makes a little bit more sense once you get into certain realms, or like when I'm actually throwing events and I see how it is, and be like, oh yeah, we can't let them in, or like they don't want to pay, they can't come in.
No, again, it's like you don't know it until you're in it type shit.
Yeah, but there's been times like, yeah, I have the money to come in, or like I have the money to shop, or I have the money to. What's the issue?
Right.
But you know, it's just a lot of politics, a lot of gatekeeping, a lot of fake shit, fickle shit. You know,
Right.
you gotta stay solid and not let that shit fuck with you.
Stick to your guns. No, yeah. But we talked about the future. We talked about the past and present. What was I gonna say? Well, where's your current standing with music? Because we talked about your current standing with clothing and stuff like that.
All right, boom. Current standing with music, fucking crazy, jumping off stages, more mosh pits, like, you know, like I honestly like recently it's just been getting like just that energy, bro. It's so
Right.
contagious. That energy is insane. Like, so a lot of like where I stand in music right now is very like performance. It's very like just like raw. Like, and when it comes to the beats, it's like I feel like my beats has always been like something where people can always be like, yeah, like I like his beat selection. Like, you know,
Right.
like I always make sure the beats are like really like interesting and like ear catching, because the performances is more like what I'm going towards. But it's weird because like everything that's pretty much going on with the world, it's like, well, that's just great because, you know, because before I was doing like more like plug and B for era,
Right.
like before the pandemic, I was doing like the comfortable kind of sounding things where it was like, because I remember like I would be, even then I was the first one of the first motherfuckers out here like in that actual realm and like scene that was like performing, taking their shirt off. You know what I'm saying? Because all
Yeah.
the niggas making swag rap,
Right.
that's like some Florida shit. So that's
Right.
some X shit. So I was on shit like that, but the people I was around, they wasn't on shit like that. They was fucking with niggas like Jay Critch. They was fucking with niggas like 6ix9ine. They wasn't.
Right.
They wasn't. And around that time, when 6ix9ine blew up, I was on more of plug and B. Niggas didn't even know what that was.
Yeah. No.
Niggas didn't even know really about, because they was thinking that that's some Atlanta shit. They thinking that's some down south shit. They thinking
Right.
that's some Cardi shit. You feel me? So they put me in that realm. So they was like, they like a lot of people were like, oh, like it's not New York. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
that's how the people would think though. But if you'd see it at the shows, but people would still fuck with it.
Right.
You know, like I remember having a show with Critch and a couple dudes from Pro Era, and I took my shirt off and I was performing. It was crazy, bro. Like I performed the comfortable track, and my nose is bleeding, like all that shit. I was going crazy, bro. Like I was jumping in the crowd, and then my nose started bleeding, and then it was still lit though. But like,
Yeah.
I would like that's like just sounds like some rock shit. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? But that was my energy always. So I'm really just getting back to that, bro, because I dumbed myself down. I was into that swag rap shit or like the plug and B shit. Not that it's like that's whack, but it's
Yeah.
I I would have performances with dudes and they would see like, all right, his recent songs are kind of more, but they wasn't, they was like trying to discourage me from performing those types of songs.
Right. Well, because they weren't as like
They're not in
hype.
this hype. Yeah,
Right.
bro. And I'm like, these niggas don't even know. That's where I started doing that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I do that now because it's more like stylistic. It's more like atmospheric. I wanted to get more into like on a Tame Impala feel. I was doing a lot of psychedelics and like listening to more electronic music, and I felt like, you know, and speeding up my BPMs, and I feel like Plug and B and a lot of that rage, a lot of those rager sounding shit. Like now it's like more like the rager shit from then is different from the rager shit now
Right.
because you know, like it's faster, it's different 808s and things like that. Then it was a bit more like it was more piano. It was a little bit more like, you feel me? Just depends. But I'm just lucky that I can like still do it all.
Right. Just take all of it and just
Mm-hmm.
that's like I feel like that's the best way to keep longevity, keeping it fresh,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just like sticking to like one like minute thing and like letting it go stale.
Yeah, bro. Cause there's some artists, like I'm not gonna throw names out there, but it's like I like their music, but it's just like the beats stay the same, the flow stays the same,
Right.
and that doesn't work for everyone.
No, yeah, no.
It
Very
doesn't.
like
Some
and
people it can work for. Some artists it can work for. Some no.
it depends. Yeah, no.
And then it's like, damn, like, and then, but that's what I said. It's like we're living in like it's like your art is judged based off of like if you can keep up. Your art is judged based off if you can like be versatile now. When before it was like, nigga, we want to hear this shit. We want to hear you do that. The same thing we've been listening to.
Yeah.
We hear you do that all the time. So it's like as an artist, bro, it's like you gotta like fucking not listen to none of that shit. You just gotta do what you feel, man.
Right.
That's why I fuck with X too, like so much, because you know he was very versatile, bro. Like he was dropping songs like "What is you," and that's like how I am. You know, like that's you, nigga. Damn, that last song you did, damn, bro.
Yeah, because the standards are always going to change. So it's kind of like if you're just doing your own shit, like being compared or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just about like cause it's like I had like some of those inspirations, but I would never clone. I would never copy. I
Oh
would
no, yeah.
jack. Like everything I've done has always been like super fucking from the heart and authentic. And that's why I said, bro, like sometimes that shit gets taken for weakness, bro. Cause as an artist, like you can't be overly cocky, but you have to know yourself and then you have to be humble.
Yeah, it's all about balance.
And
But what was I gonna say? No, yeah, it's cool that you carry yourself the way you carry yourself, because after anytime there's like an innovative, vibrant artist of sorts, like a fucking leader, there's like 1,000 fucking clones of that same artist that follow and try to be the next that, and it doesn't work ever. So be that leader, and then there'll be a bunch of fucking clones of you right afterwards, and they'll try to be you.
I mean, I honestly like see my influence and other people influence me. So
Right.
it's all just like you just have to learn how to coexist and learn how to love each other.
Right.
Like I was talking about, it's about like it's really like on some collective conscious shit now. When
No,
it
yeah,
comes,
I'm pushing something.
yeah, we're all pushing something. It's all the same in a way, not really. But then it gets competitive.
Right. We touched music, we touched clothing. I wanted to dive into one more thing before we probably wrap it up, which is you talk about like throwing like parties and stuff like that and attending. Are you like a promoter of sorts, or is that like something you do as like?
I mean, I curate. I would say the professional like way to say it is I'm a event curator.
Okay.
Because that's what I would do, and that's what I do. Like
Yeah.
I find venues. I have people that I'm associated with. We all have the collective mindset to get something done, to throw it, to make sure people have a good time. Um, like yeah, I've been broke, got up from parties, got broke from parties. Um, but what never went away was the love or the people.
Right.
It's just that once I started like getting back into like what actually the meaning of what I am is, I started noticing I didn't want that to be an overcoming thing. Like I didn't, because I was around like Yes Jules, 40-ounce band. So I could have like honestly went that route. Like not just because it's like I was in that realm a lot.
Right.
And not that like they um really like took me under the wing or anything, but it just like just knowing that you could go in that path, like you knowing that you can go that way if you wanted to, because it's just like, you know, and I didn't want to go that way. And I think that's another reason why like when I had my first manager, I was in a way a promoter because I would get paid from bringing people to the event.
Right.
Like where it becomes to like they wanted good looking girls there. Okay, I would get paid off of that. So it started from that, but in high school and all that other stuff, I was always like, yo, bro, we need to go over here. I would plan things with friends. And and then like my friends, we throw events, we throw birthday parties. We like in Brooklyn, like we would throw party buses. Every time it'd be somebody's birthday or something, it'd be like party bus. Some kids will have party buses, some kids will have the parties like downstairs. And I would always just like for the party or like sometimes I used to hate feeling down at parties though.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. And then I started finding like ways to be more up. But that's another thing with party culture is you gotta have sometimes you have to have something to celebrate. Sometimes some people are just out and about and there's nothing to like they're just going broke. I just be
Yeah.
or like whatever. But it's a lifestyle though, because like a certain kids that like they that's all they were around, but now it worked for them now because they were around that type of stuff. Either they started their own radio station or their own um like collective, or they're DJs now. You know, like a lot of people took different routes
From it.
from that, yeah. And it's all about just now things are kind of coming full circle now,
Right.
I'd say. But a lot of people had to you gotta pick.
Yeah.
So you do, but at the same time, it's all part of it's all gonna be part of you, you know?
Right.
Like, cause there's certain people like
Depth.
they dead ass remember like the parties that they've been to or that I've done. And it's like I'll meet these people a year later or something and be like, oh shit. And think about
Yeah.
all the fucking crazy anxiety that I had that night and all that shit, like of the event. Like, you know, but like,
Right.
you know, I didn't like you don't really get to appreciate it until later on.
Henceforth. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why now I like to be present, especially when I do events. I like to be present. I like to, you know, be more like social, and I just feel like I'm just in a better headspace now than I was before because, you know, I was around a lot of fake shit. I was
No, yeah.
around a lot of fickle shit, man. So,
As
you know,
things get more authentic, better energy around you, you're cleansing your space.
exactly. And that's what Nazar is about, bro. You're gonna
Look at
feel
that. We brought it full circle.
it's the phoenix, bro.
Right. Rebirth.
The rebirth, bro.
The ashes,
That's
shed
where
it
we're
all
at.
off. Yeah. Yeah. And we touched on a lot of good stuff. We touched on music, we touched on clothes, we touched on, and we kind of touched on things that I would usually have as their own question, like inspirations and such. You mentioned a lot of names, both in the music world and the clothing world, and things you've been to and people you've met and shit like that. That kind of like round off where you are now. I like that you did that. I didn't have to do much. Thanks. But yeah, now, as now we wrap it off, which usually I have the same last question for everybody, which it's really just kind of like this freedom question, which is like talking about the future. What do you have going on the next day, week, month, year, decade, century, etc.? Anything. It could be any possible minute thing that you have going on within past a second.
Hmm. Ah. Outside of the music projects, I'd say expect more concerts. I'd say expect more drops. I'd say expect more of me like really continuing to push myself like to be more like open with my audience. I've been very like closed off only because it's like personal things. And
Right.
I don't want to give like I just want to make sure that like they're gonna feel like my best. So because I want to be able to inspire them. I don't want to have anyone feel off by any frequencies that I put out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like so I want people to feel like a sense of like that they won't be judged or
Like comfort or
yeah,
openness, acceptance. Right. Yeah.
exactly. So whether it's at the shows, whether they're listening to my music, if they're wearing any of my clothing, they feel that.
Right.
Like so as long like that's what it's mainly just that like I want that's what I want and that's what I want to continue to have because I see it like I'm able to see it like pockets of that now where it's like I'm happy and I'm fulfilled but then it goes away because I feel like damn I need to go harder or like nah like they're just gassing me it must be something that they want out of this or like
Right.
you know like and now it's just like you know I'm gonna just be grateful and like go harder and honestly yeah like a lot of people want to give me residency now so expect more residencies from me because I didn't really talk about it but there's been people that have like disrespected me at events where it's like the event owner would be like a white passing person but they'd be calling me the n-word
Oh, that's fucked up.
pressing me for the money of the event during the event like we didn't already pay them like I've
Terrible.
been through like a lot of walkie shit with like videographers um holding up the movement bro like just holding up a nigga or shit like that so expect expect everyone that's in my corner now to be fucking legit and thorough.
Dependable.
Yes.
Very good, very good. No, yeah, and the best way to keep up with all this stuff, I'm assuming, is like Instagram and like stuff like that, right? Like social media. What do you think is the best way to keep up with your shit and to keep up with all this?
I say my Instagram page. I'd say my website is gonna be. I'm finding more ways to, because I made it myself, so I'm finding more ways to make things interactive and stuff.
Yeah, which all of your links will be in the description below. I do my research, and if I can't find it, I'll ask you directly, and we'll have it all down right below. So listening, watching, wherever the fuck, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff is below. But yeah, no, yeah.
So like
And
Discord, Twitch, all that like on the way. I just, like I said, I'm a man of many
endeavors.
and many fucking like. So I just have to, set that time aside to do that, to let my audience know, hey, if you're on these platforms, like this is what I'll be doing now. Like that's what I was kind of started opening up with the fact that I have to start opening.
Yeah.
So that people can go on these other things to like see how I feel about things or whatever the case may be, or playing video games, or
Just expanding.
it's painting, like just the shit that I be doing. Like,
Right.
They're like, oh shit. But I try not to stray that away from the music, bro.
Right.
Cause like I said, a lot of people like if you give them a chance to box you in, they will. So you gotta break those barriers.
Break those molds. Yeah. Yeah. I'm very glad to have spoken to you today. Thank you for giving me probably an hour or two of your time. It's been a hefty while. I don't have any clocks near me, so I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah. Well,
This is
fuck
how
it.
I am, bro. This is how I am. This regular.
No, yeah, fucking. I talk for this great purpose of community and such. So this is fun. This is me. This is what I do. But thank you for sitting with me for about an hour or two. Thank you guys for listening or watching for about an hour or two, because this was the Cult of Personality podcast hosted by Mikeymcchoppa. With me today was Matt the Outlaw. Why is my dog barking? Yeah. And that was that. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next Monday. And thank you again.